that's his entire goal in this movie. He wants to capture Yuta's curse and add it to his like army. He'll be pretty much unstoppable. What'd I miss?
I think that we all caught that you said Kirsch and we couldn't let it slide. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer.
All right. We didn't take a chance
What
to
is
do
that,
the
you
I just inhaled
audio. So do you guys want to quick do that?
Audio, just talk.
Yeah, just talk normal. You guys are shitheads, you know that.
Try your best to be.
Dude, it's like talking to a
Just try
brick
your
wall
best to be
sometimes.
normal for once.
Hey, can you guys dance, monkey dance? And you guys are just like, oh no, the
Hello.
fucking monkey is.
My name is Roberto.
Yeah, okay, I'll go
From the
first.
northern continent
Okay,
of
go.
Chamjuba, and my name is La.
Okay.
Yes.
Today is March 21st. Mitch has the thirst of anime girl camouflaged as a monster who wants her teeth sucked by Yuta-kun.
Yuta-kun. Alright, I think that's alright. Maybe boost Mitch a little bit.
Or Josh.
You need me to
Yeah.
boost a little bit?
No, I had to lower you now because I don't know.
That's uncomfortable
I'm very
and
conflicted now.
jarring.
Is this better, Trav? Can you hear me better? Am I loud enough now?
If you talk about like this the whole time, I'm just gonna end. I'll save everyone's ears.
Good stream, everybody. Good recording.
Yeah,
Good try.
it's over. You know, it's over. Just like how we are glad that movie is over with, right?
Yes.
Crickets,
Unfortunately.
dude. Crickets, dude. Jesus. But yeah, it looks like we're good to go.
Subtrain.
So
Let's go.
welcome everyone to this episode podcast, episode 15, where we are breaking the norm. We are not talking about Attack on Titan this week. We're talking about the new movie Jujutsu Kaisen 0. We were all kind of excited for this one because me, Mitch, and Yusuf have watched the show and we do really enjoy it. Josh is just
Great.
kind of here to chill out and eat food on cam.
It's a
What
great
up?
show. It's a really, really good show.
My favorite, for sure.
Turns
Yeah,
out the movie was
but I mean,
not
looking
supposed
at
to be.
Yusuf's, sweater, that's how much of a fan he is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I asked for this for Christmas because I love the show so much. I was super hyped for the movie, and this is the only thing that makes me smile now when I think about Jujutsu Kaisen recently.
Dude,
the movie
you know
was
he's serious when he wastes his one Christmas present, That's like when you're kids and you're like, I want this one game, but I'm saving for my birthday to ask for it. That kind of shit.
Mhm.
But yeah, it seems like the internet is really into hyping this movie up. And
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't read any of the reviews, so Josh, do you have any idea what they've been saying generally? Or he's looking it up right now, so we can.
Yeah, I love this one review that says the animation is beautiful and the action scenes are dynamite. I assume they either meant to say dynamic or dynamite, but instead they said dynamite.
Maybe they meant like dynamite and nice combined.
Please,
Sure, Mitch.
no.
So anyway, yeah, apparently, yeah. I mean, I don't know. The reviews are not all completely 10 out of 10, absolutely perfect, but they're definitely very high.
Here's what I'll say about the animation. I thought the show looked 10 times better than the movie. The show was beautiful and the movie was okay.
I mean, I see what you guys are talking about with like the animation not being up to par. I can only agree with like a couple shots. Like there's a scene where like a nuke goes off. Like that didn't look too great.
I thought
in
we were
my
playing
opinion.
Minecraft for a little bit.
Yeah, it didn't look too great. It just kind of looked like oil drawings and stuff. But yeah, overall, I thought the movie looked really good. I think it was well animated.
Well, yeah,
the
it was-
soundtrack, just like the show, is effing awesome.
Well, yeah, of course it's going to be good. It's Mappa doing it, so of course it's going to be good. But comparatively to the show, I think the show's animation is way better.
I think I agree with both you guys. I think the show itself was animated really well. But I think with the amount of time that they had to make this movie, they
And the
could have
movie budget.
the movie budget. Yes, like the fighting scenes, like those were animated very well. Just like casual, like I don't know, movements and all those sorts of things. Those things were animated well. But I think they could have just done more. Certain things, like you said, Trav, like that explosion going off and like after effects of like some kind of disaster. Those things definitely needed some work, but I think they could have just had more, I don't know, more action to some parts to show off that they put in a lot of time to show off that they can actually animate things as beautifully as they did with the series when that was streaming on Crunchyroll.
Yeah. The yeah, I don't think I'll complain too much about the looks and just the design or anything like that. I think the movie was made awesome. It looks great. My biggest problem with this movie is that it just I just didn't while I was watching the movie, I didn't know what it was trying to do, you know.
Yeah.
You know.
That's what I wanted to say. Like, if you wanted to watch this movie just purely for entertainment and you didn't care about the show, you didn't care about the characters or any development or plot development or anything, it was a good movie. Like, you just go and be entertained. It's an entertaining movie.
Yeah.
The thing that I got so mad about, it was like immediately got so mad about in the movie. I was like, they introduced us to this new character that we haven't met yet. We've only heard about once in the show, once or a couple times in the show, and immediately he's like this most emotional. They tried to do all these emotional, heartwarming, like character defining moment scenes, and you're just like, I don't feel anything for this character. We don't know who this character is, and they were trying to pump all this emotion onto the screen, and it feels fake. It feels flat. So that was the first thing where I was like, I don't know if I like this or not.
Yeah, I think that's just the problem with it, is that we went into the movie really not knowing what it was going to be about. We like, in hindsight, when looking at some clips of the show, I've seen a clip where Megami mentions this guy, but he was like, I have a lot of respect for this guy, but he's, off shores right now on a mission. And it's like, oh, okay. They said his name, but like now we have like this entire movie about him. But it's like, I don't know. I really don't know how to feel about this guy.
Yeah, especially because so the point of the movie, it's a prequel, right? So it's supposed to set the scene to what events happened before we're introduced to Itadori for the first episode of what we know as Jujutsu Kaisen that streams now. But they didn't really go anywhere with it. Like they had just
I'm sorry to cut you off, but I just realized something was that the reason that I really have a gripe with this movie and it doesn't have like a lot of meaning to me is because no character in this movie that we know has no growth whatsoever. Yes. Nothing changes with Maki, nothing changes with Panda, nothing changes with fucking Salmon Guy, and we get like some like backstory with Gojo Sensei with the main baddie, but like that's it. That's like all that changes. The big hero and the main star of the show is what's his face, Yuta, who's the new guy. But like Mitch said, they were pretty much strong arming his emotional baggage onto us, and I think it was at a detriment to itself because they overdid it.
The only character that not changed, but the only character we learned anything about was the villain. Like in comparison, because we didn't know anything about him in the show, and we finally learned that him and Gojo went to high school together, and his motives and what he's trying to do. Mm-hmm. Pretty sure we never heard that in the show, but I could be wrong.
I think we did hear that it was mentioned at least once, because it was like at the part where Gojo like brought Itadori with him, and like he fought that one I can't remember it's when he had like the dimensional thing. I can't remember what the art is called, but
the veil or whatever.
What?
What are you talking about?
You talking about Gojo's dimension?
Yeah,
his domain.
it's like when he was
Infinite
teaching
domain.
Midori about that. It was like sometime around like those episodes because that guy was sent there um, by Geto, and Gojo, I'm pretty sure, put those pieces together.
Okay.
I thought it was interesting what you said, Trav, because, again, full disclosure, audience, I have not seen the series and I have not seen the movie. So I'm just trying here. Having only watched the trailer, I thought that Yuta was like the main character. I knew you guys said that this was a prequel, and so I thought that he was like the main character of the show. So for you to say that he's somebody new, I was like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, he's the main character of the movie, but we haven't even met him in the show yet. It's the first time we meet him.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think what Trav says, it's very true because, yeah, it's a prequel. They introduce a new character who, for all we know, we've only heard once or twice in the series now, and they only have one movie to work with. They need to make us learn as much as possible about this character, have as much investment in this character as we do with the main character that we had in the series that we watched before this movie. But they just tried so hard, like you said, Trav, and a lot of it was forced, a lot of character defining moments, like you said, Mitch, and it was really tough to follow all of that and get the same type of emotional responses we did when you compare it to like the Demon Slayer movie, because that's the only thing you have to compare it to.
Yeah, I think with the Demon Slayer movie, the reason it was so emotional is because they did a really good job of throughout the movie. Like, we didn't even learn about Rengoku's backstory until he was about to die. It was just they made him such a lovable and entertaining character first, and then they gave us backstory. Where with Yuta, they were like, okay, here's this really, really depressed kid. Learn everything about his past, why it makes him depressed, and then we'll try and make him.
We're given the backstory of Yuta when we don't care about him, but with Rengoku, we're given his backstory when we already care about him. Mm-hmm. We already knew Rengoku was a character in the show when the Hashira were all introduced, and in this one, I mean, we only hear his name like once, and now he's just thrown into there, and now we watch his backstory. We need to, feel bad for him, care for him and stuff, and I mean, we've already been introduced to the world of Jujutsu Kaisen through Itadori, so it's like we don't have the same experience than what we had with Itadori.
See, here's another thing I found an issue with the movie, and I get it, right? They can't spend the whole first half of the movie explaining what Jujutsu is. Like, you should have watched the show. But I feel like Jujutsu is such a complicated magic system and fighting system compared to
I still have no flipping clue what they're talking about in the movie.
Like, they just jumped in and were like, okay, go fight this demon. It's like, you didn't even explain what any of this is. Because for someone that hadn't seen the show, I mean, you should see the show. Like, I get why they did that.
Yeah,
but at the same time, I was like...
To give some semblance of context of where we are right now, Yuta's been, thrown into Jujutsu, and he's already met, like, Maki and Panda and Salmon Guy all the first years, and they already don't trust him because the looming, like, creature behind him, that's his, like, power. That's his, childhood friend, Rika?
Rika.
Yeah, who dies after pretty much proposing to him.
Which I also have an issue. Okay, this might be a little controversial.
Marriage is bad. Don't get married.
No.
Don't find love.
Shut the fuck up.
Bad.
Because I have never had like this big childhood trauma, right? That Yuta suffered. But I feel like in anime, because it's the same thing in Tokyo Revengers that really bothered me, is that this girl that he meets when he's like 5 years old, still the love of his life when he's like 17. It's like, bro, it's like, move on, man. Live your life. Stop worrying. Stop living in the past so much, dude. Might be a little controversial because it's a tragic death, but like, it was so fucking weird. It was so weird to me that I was like, you never met anyone else that you were like, okay.
The problem is we don't spend enough time between Yuta and Rika. They're pretty much, they show both of them in the hospital together, and then they're just playing in the playground, and then next thing you know, he's getting the ring, and it's like, we'll be together forever.
That's another thing
ever. Rika's like, oh damn, this is cool. I'm gonna keep it.
Another thing I didn't like is they made it seem like this, like Rika was such an emotional foil for Yuta, but like we knew her for like 5 minutes before she died, and I was like, all right, okay, I don't care about this little girl at all.
I'll speak on what you're saying about like 12 years later, this guy still loves this girl that died, and even though they promised to have a future together, she's gone. So why hasn't he moved on? He knew that curse was her. Like he kept calling that curse Rika, right? So like even if he wanted to move on, he constantly had that reminder that she's there, and he's the one. I mean, we learned later on that he put that curse on her, so he must have had some kind of attachment and desire to keep her as his, you know, his forever, because they were bound together forever until he lifted the curse.
Well, they mentioned
So I
like
think
a lot of the curses, like the strongest ones or the most common ones, are built out of love, because in the world of Jujutsu Kaisen, it seems a lot of the curses are drawn or created from strong human emotion. So that's why you see a lot of curses in like elementary schools and stuff, because kids don't really have their emotions under lock and keep. They just constantly letting them out. So that's why there's curses all over the place.
Well, the reason they manifest in schools and hospitals is because curses manifest where there are negative emotion. So, like, if a kid gets bullied, and then they think about that when they're an adult, they think about that place, and that's where the curse manifests. In the hospital, if your loved one dies,
is it just negative emotions, or can it also be strong ones? Like
it's negative. It's negative emotions. But what Gojo was saying with the love thing is that a lot of these strongest negative emotions happen after something bad happens to someone you love, or with your love with someone. That's where the most powerful negative emotions come from. That's what he was saying.
Okay, that makes sense then.
If I could just mention one more thing about like introducing a new character, because I know we moved past that, but just to draw a parallel with the Jujutsu Kaisen series that we've watched, they introduced a new character with Junpei, if you guys remember him.
Is that the jellyfish guy?
Yeah.
Are we talking about the show or the movie still?
The show.
Is that the guy that Yuji becomes really good friends with, and then
very short, right in the middle of the series.
Yeah.
Spoilers, by the way.
They did the same thing. They introduced a new character. They built the emotional investment, gave him a backstory, and they did it more effectively than they did in the whole movie. Yeah. So I just think that they had the potential to do a lot more with the character and get us more invested in their story, but it just wasn't as effective. Because the only thing they gave us was the sandbox scene with the ring and the car crash. That's it.
And Josh, you might want to deafen for this because I'm about to get into some show spoilers. But the reason I loved, what's his name, Junpei?
Yeah.
The reason I loved, because I want to talk about this when we actually get to the show. The reason I love his introduction and death, because it's like 5 episodes he's only alive for. The reason I love it so much is because he is like the exact thing Yuji wants to protect, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He, like, Yuji's whole thing is he wants to let people choose how they die, and like Junpei is so suicidal, so it's like they do a really good job of showing how much Yuji cares for him, and that Yuji isn't strong enough yet to protect him. So that's why it was so good. For this one, we're just like, all right, it's a little girl that dies tragically. Okay, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the thing too about the one movie guy is
totally agree. Yeah.
We're introduced with him, and we can actually relate with him. With Yuta, we can't really relate too much with him because we're just pretty much thrown into the weeds with him right from the get-go. So we're just kind of following a story, and we get to see Maki and all of them again, and we're like, oh, these are characters I like, and now we have to keep following Yuta, and it's like, why can't we just watch more with these other guys?
The one thing I really did like about this movie is the parallels between Gojo and Yuta and Gojo and Itadori. How, like, the council or whatever they are wanted to kill Yuta right away, and Gojo's like, haha, if you kill him, I will kill all of you. And he does the same thing with Itadori later in the show.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, I thought that was nice too. Mm-hmm. Best boy Gojo.
No, Best Boy was only in the show for like 5 minutes. 5 seconds, rather. So annoying. They just teased him.
He
I'm talking about Toto. I feel you.
Yeah.
He had to watch the live show or whatever he was gonna miss. That's where he was the whole.
The Christmas special.
So after like the first mission with Maki and Yuta in the elementary school, they get eaten, and like the main baddie finds out about Yuta because he picks up like his student ID.
Well, I actually wanted to talk about that first mission a little bit.
Yeah, go
And
ahead.
how dumb it was.
Yeah, go ahead.
I thought, okay, so at that point, that was like literally Yuta's first week at the school, right?
Mhm.
He didn't know how to do any sorcery or anything. He just goes like, go have fun, don't die. What? But the part I hated was when Maki and him were in like the demon, and we're like Maki passes out, and then Yuta like falls asleep. He's like, "Oh, I can't do it." Then we have this super like intense emotional scene between Maki and Yuta, where on camera they have known each other for like 15 minutes, not even. And I was like, there are zero emotions here. Stop trying to like pump emotions onto the screen that don't exist. I was like, I feel nothing about Yuta's like character development right now because we don't know anything about him.
So yeah, I wonder if that was more Maki just being insecure because she can't handle the curses like Yuta can.
Well, no, that's not the part I'm talking about. I'm talking about after she passes out and Yuta's like, he's like, I'm gonna give up. I don't know what to do. And then Maki wakes back up and is like, why'd you even come to Jujutsu High? He's like, I'm like, Yuta didn't even fucking choose to go. He got dragged there by Gojo. Like, what do you mean? Like, she's like, why'd you come here? What? And he's like, I wanted to make friends. I'm like, bitch, what? You mean you want to like? What are you talking about?
I just want some friends.
Yeah, then you have,
Shut up, you
had the
two little kids
there.
dying in the background. We're
Yeah,
having
you
a
had the little
moment.
kids. They were like, yeah, friends are nice and all, but hey, we're about to die.
One of the
Literally
kids has
dying.
like a giant like gash on his head, and he's like has his eyes like started to bleed. The other one's just like barely alive, just slowly breathing. But now they have to have a moment like, hey,
I know.
stop being a bitch. He's like, you
And then-
right.
And then suddenly he's like, you know what will save us if I put on my ring. Bitch, what the fuck? Why?
Yeah, so yeah, that's what happened. He slips on the ring, and then
He's wearing it as a
Rika
necklace,
comes
and he
out.
pulls it out and he puts it on his ring finger, and then Rika comes out. I'm like, all right, whatever, bro. Whatever.
Your strength. And boom.
I found that whole scene so fucking stupid.
And then the main baddie finds out about Yuta because he finds the ID.
Mm-hmm.
Oh ho! Looks like we found somebody. Ho ho! That guy's
Pulled
pretty
the
cool.
fresh move and dropped his stuff. Someone found it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So afterwards, Yuta gets like a katana from Gojo, which it's like he's able to like kind of throw in the essence pretty quickly into that katana. I just feel like Yuta is just like a natural when it comes to like all this like sorcerer kind of stuff.
Well, okay, I was literally just about to complain about how they never trained, like you just know how to do everything. But I guess at the end of the movie, they kind of explain why.
Yeah.
Because he's one of the from the three main families, so he's just a natural.
Yeah, so there has to be some like main character BS behind him, really.
Mm-hmm.
So
He's like Gojo's cousin, right? He's Gojo's family.
He's
He's
in-
like a distant relative. of
yeah,
Gojo.
and if Yuta has like even like a slight fraction of like Gojo's power, man, it's like okay, it makes sense why he can do all this BS stuff because he should be a natural. He should have the strength to really back it up. But then after Yuta gets his katana, he trains. We have like a subtle little time skip where it's been like 3 months or something like that, and now he's like a natural with the sword now, slowly catching up to Maki.
The best scene in the entire movie right here.
Oh yeah, we have him going in for a finishing blow against Maki, and Maki does the split.
The camera angle was fucking perfect.
Yeah, how old is Maki? Before we get in trouble, because that was my least favorite scene.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Was it? Shut the
it was
fuck
my
up.
least favorite scene. Yeah, I didn't like that scene at all. Like anyone that liked that scene is disgusting and should
Well,
be
it's
disgusted
good
with
'cause-
themselves.
Well, it's good because I'm 17, so it's okay.
Yeah, let's see. Pull out your license and put it to the camera. Make sure to
Yeah,
highlight
let
your
me-
address.
Yeah.
While you're at it, just give us your social.
And the three numbers on the back of my debit card.
Listen.
Pretty much like Gojo shows Yuta like a bunch of cursed tools, right? And he's like, "Hey, you can use these, but you have so much cursed energy in you. You should practice like infusing it in this sword. But you need to learn how to use a sword." So he's sparring with Maki because that's the only thing she does is use tools because she can't really use curses.
Oh yeah, and then Gojo or Panda tries to ship Yuta and Maki.
She can tell he's in love with him.
Yeah. So he pulls the what's your favorite character's name again, Mitch?
Toto.
Toto?
Yeah. So he pulls the
What's
Toto.
your favorite
He's
kind
like,
of girl?
Yeah. Do you like big
you like
boobs
your
or
word
small
for it.
boobs?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And he's like,
He gives an honest. He gives an
I
honest
prefer
answer
small
too.
boobs, and Panda's like, haha, Maki, you have a chance.
Yeah.
That was funny. No, I think Maki like soft carried in this movie. I think she was one of the better characters in this movie.
Yeah, but she pretty much pulled a Reiner this movie. She just kept
she got her
losing.
ass
She
beat,
kept
yeah.
losing. Every opportunity Maki had a chance to shine in combat, aside from beating shit out of Yuta, she got completely clapped.
I think looking between the movie and what we've watched already, there's a lot of growth there. I think for
Yeah, it's
for all the
pretty.
characters.
Yeah,
Nice.
but I mean, I don't remember the scale of which enemies Maki fought. I think it was just against other students for now. Maybe some other like smaller curses. Maybe I don't really remember too much. So
Yeah, she really only fought against her sister in the show, I think.
and that like blue hair girl with the katana. So it's not too much of a rap sheet we have right now, at least what we can remember. But yeah, Maki's cool. We like
I like her a
Maki,
lot.
even
yeah.
though that split scheme was disgusting, and we still don't know what age she is. So shame on you, Mitch, for being
Well,
17
also-
still.
Also, like even though she fought against other students, like those are also I don't know what class, like sorcerers, and they're also third-year students that they fought against.
Well, Toto is a special grade. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he's badass.
And then the
but-
rest of them are like 1 to 4. I don't know.
Right.
So after that subtle like time skip, Yuta gets on like his next mission with the salmon guy in the alleyway. I
I would like to take back what I
Toga?
said.
What are you talking about, Mitch?
Nothing.
What do you
Let's keep
mean?
moving.
What do you mean
Let's keep
nothing?
going. Let's keep moving.
Oh, okay, you sounded really nervous about what you just said there, but okay, I guess we'll
Bro.
move on.
I mean, if there's parallels between, I mean, they're in high school, so if they're first year,
Panda, Maki, Yuta, and the Salmon Boy are all 15 in this movie.
Wow, Mitch, you're disgusting. You know that. If Krantz Hansen here, he would tell you to get off your seat and get in another one. Why don't you take a seat? But does anyone have any thoughts about the alleyway fight with Salmon Guy and Yuta?
hey, dude, Toga's my favorite character.
I don't understand how he got so good with the sword so fast, but
3 months, dude. Going against Maki too.
Well,
There's probably a lot of point. To be fair, like there's probably a lot that Maki could show him, and I mean, Gojo probably showed him a thing or two. So he probably took the 3 months of training very seriously, and he's obviously got like main character genes behind him. So it's not really surprising when we have this kind of hindsight.
what's Rice Cake Boy's name?
Toga?
Oge?
Yeah.
He's fucking cool, man. His sorcery is so overpowered.
Cursed speech.
So good.
You can only use it like he only used it like twice though. So it seems
Well,
like whenever he does like a big command, or
Mhm.
it really takes a toll on his throat.
It depends on like the severity of his command. Like if he says stand still, it's not gonna be much. But if he says pulverize, like he did, it's gonna rip his throat in half.
And then
But
he
that was
just
a-
he
that was
just
a-
he just drank some juice from the convenience store, and that fixed his
Eh.
throat.
It was a cool fight, but I mean, it really didn't mean anything in the long run.
It was just more shocking to see, because like we go like right from the elementary school mission where Yuta was pretty much dog shit until he called Rika, and then we get the little subtle time skip, and now he's just a badass on
Yeah,
these
that-
missions now in the alleyway. It's just kind of like when you don't have hindsight like we have now, it's kind of like hard to understand it when you're in the movie, because it's like, okay, we went from this nothing dude to now he's just a complete badass and going 1v1 against the curses, and you know, being clutch and like grabbing the bottle of like throat whatever medicine and throwing it to Salmon Guy to wrap up the fight. So, it was just kind of unreal. Not in a good way, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. It was whatever. It was kind of just a filler fight with really no character development, no plot development, no nothing.
Well, it just shows that Salmon Guy and Yuta are friends now, pretty much.
Yeah,
Like, he gets a better understanding of what Salmon Guy's talking about, and Salmon Guy, and then become good friends, very good friends. That's the one thing you got to take out of this. They're all Class 1 are really good friends now. They're the best of friends. And Panda was already like his friend from the get-go, I think. Because it's Panda.
That's the one thing that was missing. I mean, he went on a mission with everyone but Panda.
Well, I mean, if you want to consider that last battle one, technically, sure. What is Panda, anyways? Is he like a stuffed animal or like a real panda? I'm confused.
He's like a cursed reanimated corpse or something like that.
Yeah, he's like a cursed corpse.
Because he got like punctured in like the battle, and it was just like, it was just stuffing. So is he just like a stuffed like actual panda or some shit? I'm confused.
I'm pretty sure he's like supposed to be like a taxidermy panda with stuffing in him, and he got reanimated, kind of. I think, I don't know. Don't really care. Yeah, Panda's really just there for comedic effect, pretty much.
He's a badass though.
He is a badass, yeah. But he got his ass waxed by the bad guy.
So then, how did you guys think about that one like business guy's face getting sucked off by the like big bad guy?
That was suck.
Yeah.
Suck.
That was
so fucking weird, dude.
Yeah.
I think you've sent me that, Mitch, but I don't have that one.
I sent you that? I don't think I said. I don't.
No, I'm just saying the suck.
Oh, yeah.
I don't have that one.
I don't have my voice line open, so.
Damn, missed opportunity. All right, let's reset, guys.
That's
all right, so today we're talking about Jujutsu Kaisen 0, where we didn't like it very much. So, who wants to start?
Suck.
Yeah, and then the big baddie, like, is just busy, like, stealing curses from other people, and just to kind of get his army all ready to go. So then, after we're introduced to the big baddie, do we know his name at all?
Ghetto.
Yeah. So, yeah, as soon as he's like introduced, he just comes flying into Jujutsu High near Yuta and all of them.
I have a question about Ghetto. Is he like the big baddie, or is the guy from the show the big baddie? Like the guy with like the scars on his face?
He works with Ghetto.
Okay, so like equals...
Like Ghetto recruited him.
Yeah, I don't really remember too much because it's been kind of a while since I've watched through Jujutsu Kaisen.
Because I just remember that fight where Jellyfish Boy dies was such a fucking
spoiler.
Like that villain, the guy with the stitches on his face, was such a good fight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Very good.
So then Ghetto declares war on Jujutsu, and like Gojo's just like, you really think I'm gonna let you get away? And then Ghetto's like, bitch, please, I'm already out. See you.
That whole scene was stupid to me too. It's like, what the fuck, dude? Just
like,
send a text.
Yeah, he had like his like circus act like all behind him too, like the two like teenage girls, the one guy that didn't have nipples, all he had was hearts instead of nipples.
He did have nipples.
Nope, only hearts.
Exactly.
I looked at them very hard, and there was nothing protruding out of them.
They were really hard?
No, they were hearts.
Oh.
I'm hard.
They were heart nipple.
Touch me hard.
Okay.
No, that scene was so stupid. It's like, bro, you're just
well,
send a fucking letter.
Well, that's how.
Send a fucking text message, bro. Like,
well, that's how much he doesn't give a shit. He likes to flex on them a little bit. He's like, see, that's how much I don't give a shit about you guys. I'm just gonna show up, be like, hey, you got like 30 days before this happens or some shit, and then he just flies off.
But okay, so my issue with that scene is, it spoilers for the end of the movie. If he loses to Yuta,
we're spoiling the movie.
Who goes like fucking berserk? I feel like Gojo could beat Yuta at Yuta's highest, right? Would you all agree with me on that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure. He can.
So
he's supposed to be able to beat Tuna, right?
If Gojo and the principal and the panda and Maki and Salmon Boy and all the teachers are there. Why not just attack him? Like, why not just stop him there?
Because he
Don't
threatened the first years.
Collateral. Yeah, the
Bruh.
collateral damage.
Collateral wasn't worth it for him. Gojo obviously cares about all his students, so he knows his weakness.
Why not just Gojo just lock him in an infinite domain?
Mm.
Sure, Geto can do something about it.
Well,
Domain.
I'm sure before like the field actually gets spread, he'll probably just snap like Maki or Panda's like neck or some shit.
I guess it also makes sense that Gojo kind of doesn't want him to die because the end of the movie lets him escape.
Yeah, that's right.
We know that he did, or something happened.
Well, pretty much the next scene after that is just them just talking, and then we probably see like another flashback or two between Yuta and Rika.
Yeah, the flashback
Like-
we saw like 5 times in the movie.
Dude, it's like the second time I looked at Mitch and I was like, I swear to God, if they show this goddamn scene with this little girl dying again, I'm gonna lose it.
Like 20 minutes later.
I had to entertain myself. I went to Mitch and I was like, Mitchy, look at that.
Hey,
You see that little
good
happy
thing-
girl there? She's dead. She fucking died. She got ran over by a car. She bled out like a bee.
The good thing is we've got a lot of experience lately with watching the same scene over and over again.
Yeah, but I have high expectations for Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yeah, I have 0 expectations.
Kamari, I'm willing to turn my brain off and love it. Just waiting for everyone's reactions on Monday. That's the best part for me. So then, after they're done showing the flashback for the 20th time, what it felt like, the war pretty much starts. And instead of Geto like being on the front lines, he's obviously targeting Yuta because of Rika.
He wants
That's
Rika.
that's his entire goal of this movie. He wants to capture Yuta's curse and add it to his like army. He'll be pretty much unstoppable. What'd I miss?
I think that we all caught that you said Kirsch and we couldn't let it slide. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Couldn't.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, I gotta say it's the most awkward thing looking at the screen and seeing everyone else laughing at something and you don't know what they're laughing at. That's a bad feeling.
He wanted to take his curse.
The curse.
Okay.
So that's how I spelt it. I'm not really good at spelling words on my notes. I don't know how to spell. So yeah, that was pretty much his whole gimmick of the movie. He wanted to steal Rika and add it to his like collection of curses or curses, however I said it.
Because apparently she's like one of the strongest curses.
Well, he's labeled as like a special grade because of that. And like special grades, like what the top of like
highest,
like what are they, like sorcerers? What the hell do they call them?
sorcerers.
That's what they're called? Okay.
Did you hear what Geto said during the fight though? He said there's only 4 humans that have ever been given special grade.
So
Gojo, Geto, Yuta, and is Toto the 4th? Or is Toto just grade 1?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think Toto is special grade.
Maybe Itatori is the last one. Maybe.
But Itadori wasn't
Yeah,
a
that
thing
didn't
yet.
exist.
Oh yeah, you're right.
So
I don't know.
Are there
Maybe,
any like
I think Toto is
parallels?
grade 1. Yeah, Toto's grade 1.
Sorry, are there any like parallels to like Black Clover with these like levels that I could understand or not really?
yeah, well it's like grade 4 is lowest, grade 3 is, and then it's like power level basically.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, there's not really a direct comparison to Black Clover. All you have to know is special grades, like the holy shit, how do you exist tier. Like it's so nuts that they exist.
It's like
Even more than
Yeah.
like a captain or
Oh yeah.
It's about similar level to Captain.
like you're
Yeah, but
recognized
captains
as
had to,
much as
like-
the captain, but you're more powerful than probably the Wizard King
okay, wow.
Really?
or something like comparable.
Well, in
power
terms
to
of the
Wizard King.
power scaling in Jujutsu Kaisen, it's like, the special
You can't even
grade's
compare
stupid.
it to that, really.
We just don't know the
Sorry, I didn't want
context
to
of
start a
power
debate.
scaling.
Sorry.
Well, no,
Well,
don't worry. It killed like a minute.
I mean,
I'm just trying to get a reference that makes sense to me.
I would say more powerful than like Yami or fucking William Vengeance, but powerful than Julius. I was like, Julius is like got the most broken power in anime history, man.
Rebirth.
Mhm.
True.
Yeah, I don't know about
Okay.
I'm
that.
just
I
trying
just
to separate the
Yeah,
power
yeah.
level. Yeah, there.
I got you.
yeah, it's all over the place. Let's see here.
Brushes are weird. Man.
So instead of being on the front lines, Geto attacks Yuta and Maki at the school. Why were they there? Was it just because Yuta was sleeping or something, or
Yuta and Maki were there because they weren't strong enough. Or-
to be on the front lines or something? Or
Maki wasn't strong enough to be on the front lines, and they wanted to protect Yuta and not put him in harm's way. Which again makes no sense. Why would you try to protect Yuta and not put any fucking protection at the school?
yeah, it's called Maki.
Yeah,
Yeah, you sick bastard.
no, but
Power of law.
I bet you want her to go into a different room and just start doing the splits for you, huh? You sick bitch. Yeah, you look at yourself and tell yourself where you went wrong.
okay. Can we move the fuck on? Dude? That's
Why?
so odd.
You're the
Maki
only
did-
one getting nervous here.
Maki did say that she didn't get asked to go because she was a grade 4, whereas Toei and Panda are grade 1.
How the hell did she even become like a grade 4 though? Because she can't even see curses.
She got special glasses, bro.
Wouldn't that make anyone a grade 4 then?
I guess.
Oh.
Well, she's grade 4 because she can fight.
Probably because of her family line too.
That too.
They probably pulled some strings or some
Toby's
shit.
grade 2, by the way.
Toei, I thought he was grade 1.
He's grade 2. That was the reason why he could accept the quest by himself. That's a prerequisite.
I could have sworn they said he was 1 and Panda was like borderline 1.
Panda's like semi-grade 2. You have like intermediate steps. I'm also looking at the wiki, so
Oh, you are? Okay. That's what I was
yeah,
thinking.
just for
Yeah.
reference. I do remember him saying Toge was grade 2.
Okay.
Mm.
Well, whatever. They're strong enough to go to the front lines. That's what I was trying to say.
But then we get to one of the more annoying parts, I think, where Panda and Salmon Guy get teleported by Gojo to fight Geto, while Gojo's fighting one of his henchmen.
Miguel.
Yeah, Panda and Salmon Guy put up a solid enough fight, I guess. They didn't last too long against Geto. He was taken out of the rings pretty quick. So then Maki, before we didn't even see Maki fight in this like ambush. Hold up. Maki just gets taken out like in the next like shot. Like you see a scene with her like getting ready, and next thing you know, Maki's just on the ground pretty much dead. And then Yuta like starts to fight her. Panda and Salmon Guy come in to try to clap him, but they just end up getting smashed. But go on, Mitch.
Okay. Why the fuck did Gojo think he needed to stay to beat Miguel? Like he didn't think the rest of the teachers could have stopped him. Like
Yeah,
why
I
didn't
don't
Gojo
know.
just go to the high school like right away?
I don't know.
Plot holes.
Well, I mean, maybe that's the
I
truth.
think-
I don't know.
Well,
Maybe he thought
they
like
were-
he could take him out quick enough.
It revealed later on that, why he sent Toge and Panda there.
Oh yeah, because
At least by themselves, because he knew that they wouldn't be able to do anything against
Oh,
Geto.
and he wanted to
they
pull
had
out.
they were
to,
they were
like,
pretty
be on
much
the
a
brink of death
sacrifice for Utah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's basically the whole reason was to get Yuta to clear the curse, right?
To awaken like his power or some shit. And
Yeah, to manifest a bunch of power out of nowhere and revive
oh
him.
dude, and then you had the
Gojo's
awesome
kind of a-
yeah, he's
Gojo's
kind
kind of a dick.
yeah, he is.
He's kind of an asshole.
Oh, okay, come on. It took you till this long in the movie to kind of realize that. Like, he doesn't tell Yuta shit, which gets him in trouble with all the first years. He doesn't tell him anything about being a sorcerer or what curses are. So it was up to Maki to teach him that lesson. And pretty much he gives him a katana as like, yeah, fuck it, just, use it. Just do it. just swing better. And then Maki just beats his ass for 3 months because of that. Yeah, so, I mean, Gojo is a interesting character, but I'm not saying he's a good teacher. He has very unorthodox ways of, getting what he wants from his students, I guess.
I hate when people compare him to Kakashi. He's not even close to Kakashi. That's an insult to Kakashi, dude.
But they both have white hair, Mitch. They both have special eyes.
I think their demeanor is pretty similar.
They're practically the same character.
Shut the fuck up. Gojo would body Kakashi in a fight, but Kakashi's just a 10 times better character.
But let's see. But what I was mentioning before with the most BS part of this was that I don't know if it was before or after Yuta like activates like his power or something, but he just goes up to like Panda and all of them. He saves them from like a big attack, and next thing you know, they're like in the classroom, like, all right, you're healed, you're healed, you're healed. All right, let's go. It's like, excuse me, what?
I physically recoiled. I was like, the fuck? In the movie theater, you guys started laughing. I was like, how do we have
flashbacks to that shit? Like, I know that triggers you, like when it happened in I know it happened in Demon Slayer too.
It happened in Demon Slayer and it happened in Naruto. I was like, you can't just give someone healing powers without telling us why they fucking have healing powers. It's so stupid. Oh, my friend's about to die? Never mind. You're saved.
I'm the main character of this movie.
He had so much curse energy in him, he was able to separate some and
he can heal with a curse. That makes fucking sense.
Well, yeah, if love's strong enough and turns into a negative emotion, right? It makes a healing curse.
Said that converting cursed energy into like healing power is like a really advanced technique. So it's like possible with his special grade curse to do that, and like he unlocked his potentials pretty much. He surpassed his limits to have a parallel to Black Clover.
And he also fucking surpasses limits when he pulls out the fucking megaphone and uses Toei's fucking curse speech.
Yeah,
where did that come from?
Spatial thing that opened and he got it.
And he's just like. And then he just says die, and he has zero effects about him. Like, die is the one thing that Toei can't say, I think, right?
Well, it's because it's a tool. Like, it's usable. Like, it's a consumable. You just do it.
Pulled out of his fucking ass, dude.
He's the main character. Come on.
Rika's like, I got you.
No, they went to the store.
Rika get it from?
No, they went to the store. Like, while you weren't looking, Rika went to the store and crafted it. Okay. With a megaphone, got some paint, maybe got some twine and shit, and then, jam some curse energy into it. Come on, you just weren't paying close enough attention.
It was so convenient. Of all the curse tools she could have manifested, it was the megaphone. And
that was
not
a strong
anything
one.
else.
It was a strong one, honestly, though, because it killed, all the smaller henchmen, didn't it?
I mean, it was a cool scene. It was a really cool scene. It just made no fucking sense.
Why was that the one and only thing that they manifested?
I don't know. Maybe because he was focusing the rest of the power into the katana. I don't know.
The katana shattered.
That did it? When? At the start of the fight?
Getzo fucking punched it and it broke.
And like halfway through the fight, he's like, "Hey, you put too much energy at once, you fucking noob."
You little bitch. No, I gotta say, the best part of the movie was when Yuta was activating his power, because you have the demon cursed form of Rika right here, and he's like, "Don't worry, I'll never abandon you. We will be as one." And then he goes in for the kiss.
He kisses,
and then a fucking dude behind us goes, all we hear is the most subtle, "Bruh."
Hey, your brother was there though. What did he say?
Oh, he started dying.
Calvin heard the bro and he's like, nice. Oh my god. Oh.
Yeah, if you want polar opposites opinions, because my brother has no idea what the hell is Jujutsu Kaisen, so he had a good time watching the movie. Like Mitch was saying, if you don't know shit about Jujutsu Kaisen and you have zero expectations going into this movie, you're gonna have a good time. But because we were already introduced to this world, we had certain, I don't know, we were just looking for something, I guess, to relate back to the show. But nah.
This might be an end conversation, but I do think once we see Yuta in the show and we actually get what he was doing and we get more character, I think we'll look back on this a lot like with a lot better memories than we do right now. Because we don't know anything about him right now. I think once we learn more about him, we'll like the movie a lot more.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I really don't know about that. It's just I just don't care about him still, you know? Even when after he defeats Ghetto and like everyone has like a happy like, oh wow, Rika's free now. You released her even though you promised to die. You know,
Well,
you weren't the one that was going to die because it was your curse, Utah.
Yeah.
You're the one that cursed her, you piece of shit.
The thing, like they did the whole false death, which I hate when shows do. YouTube was like, all right, I will give my life if you give me the last bit of your power, Rika. And she's like, okay, cool. She gives him all the power, and then he's about to go die, and she's like, never mind. It was you were the curse. I'm free now. I'm gonna die. It's like, bitch, what?
I will say they did it kind of funny though, because like everyone like Maki Panda and all of them were just like, all right guys, let's go walk into the sunset, and he's just like, oh. I kind of promised I would die. Sorry. What? And then, yeah, nothing comes of it. And then they end up walking into the sunshine together. And
what did you say?
Yeah, the sunshine together.
Oh, okay.
Sun don't shine.
The sun don't shine. And then, what was it? Gojo lets Geto go, pretty much, so he can be in the main show. And then in the end credits, we see that Yuta is chilling with one of the henchmen guys, and then Gojo kind of makes an appearance like, hey, guess who's coming back into the show? And then, yeah, it was pretty much the end of the movie there. And we were pretty glad about it because, I don't know, I didn't really know how to feel about this movie. I didn't care about Yuta going into it, and I still don't really care about him. I'm interested to see what he brings into the future, but I don't know. He seems very overpowered, but at the same time, I don't know if he's going to be as strong because Rika is gone now, isn't she?
Yeah, I don't know how his power level would have changed. Like, is he still special grade?
I think he is.
I mean, technically, yeah, I guess.
Well, he had the power to turn Rika into what she is. Or was in the movie, so that's still his power.
I think his power is to be able to like summon curses on will, like he did with the megaphone and like that. He can just curse things at will. But I don't know.
I mean, Josh, how'd you like the movie?
I have nothing bad to say. Like we already talked about. I have nothing bad to say.
You have
Nothing
anything
good to
good?
say,
Yeah,
but nothing.
Come on, man.
To say.
Help
The
us out
things
here.
that I was gonna ask at the beginning, but obviously we got into it. And it's kind of some of the only input I have is two-parter. So first off, correct me if I'm wrong. Mappa makes Jujutsu Kaisen and Attack on Titan. Do they do anything else?
They do a lot.
No, a bunch of
Okay.
animes.
So then the question.
They do
Mappa was the
Zombieland.
they do
Zombieland.
Zombieland. They're gonna do Chainsaw Man. They do a lot. Mappa was the studio that got sued for basically treating their animators like slaves.
Yeah, so then my question was going to be, do you feel like that's part of the reason potentially why this movie was not, I guess, as good as you guys were hoping for or whatever, or at least not as visually stunning as you were hoping that it was going to be, just because they're so goddamn busy and...
No, I just think it was... I mean, it looked very good. There was just it was like compared to what we just saw with Demon Slayer, I think that's why we're all like so like, holy shit, animation.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think any studio can compare to Ufotable. So.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's like it's showing in character, like it's pretty close to the manga from what I've seen, and I've watched like the same video like twice, kind of doing an overview on it, just so I was kind of refreshed before this podcast. And it seems like they hit every note. They probably added a little bit more padding here and there with Yuta and Rika and stuff, but overall it's pretty much the same thing of what we got. It seems like this story is more centered towards people that already know the character and they want the backstory of it. We went into this movie not really wanting that, so we didn't get anything we wanted, and we didn't, enjoy it because of it.
That's why I think it's so highly rated. Is because it's all the people that have read the manga and know what's gonna happen, watching this and be like, "Holy shit, that was fucking great."
That or just casual people coming in for the movie, you know.
Yeah.
I feel like that's
People
a
that have
good majority of
only
people.
watched season 1 and don't know a lot about the lore of JJK. So, but I did tell this after the movie. So, Demon Slayer, the season 1 was about here for me, and JJK season 1 was about here for me. After Mugen Train, my hype for Demon Slayer season 2 shot out to the roof. After this movie, my hype for JJK season 2, I couldn't care what less about season 2 JJK. So.
Well, for me, I I'm trying to separate that idea because the purpose of Mugen Train was to connect the two seasons versus for JJK was to give you some context as to what happened prior to season 1. So the reason for the movie is different, the timeline's different. And I'm so excited for JJK season 2 because it's going to pick up after that awesome last scene that we had. I'm not going to talk much about it because
I mean, yeah,
we're going to watch it and cover it, and Josh hasn't watched it. So
of course, I'm still excited, but like after watching Mugen Train, I was like, okay, this needs to come out like tomorrow. That's how excited I was.
Mm-hmm.
So. And like Demon
Is
Slayer,
that
Demon Slayer
sorry,
wasn't even one of my favorite anime. It was that good where I was like, okay, I want to watch this.
yeah, I was a little sad though, or disappointed with the ending. I mean, I was disappointed with a lot of things, but the ending in particular because it was like just like Trav said, all right, we're walking off into the sunset, but it's like what's happening now? Like, are you going on a mission? Are you going to rebuild the town? Are you going to see other if there's survivors from this giant war we just had? Like, what's happening? And there was just I don't know. There
Did
was
we
some
talk
gaps.
about the end credit scene yet?
Yeah, after
I
credits.
think he briefly mentioned it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just so the end credit scene was basically just like, hey, Yuta's gonna be in season 2.
Yep. It's pretty much it.
Yeah, we see a scene. You already said what happens.
Mhm.
I was reading something. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
he said that.
So I guess another small gripe is that they did show other characters from the show that we do like the Cleaver guy, the other school, like Toto, all them. Like we were happy to see them. It's just they got zero screen time pretty much. They were shown like, hey, we're here. We walked down a street and now we're going back to Utah, just like that.
We got to see the Cleaver guy fight. We got to see the girl with the white hair fight, and then I was like, okay, they're gonna do it. They're gonna show us like at least 40 seconds of Toto fighting. They show Toto. He's like, all right, I have to go watch my Christmas special. Let's hurry this up. And then cuts. I was like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
My favorite character.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
It was a small detail I thought that was cool during the fight with Utah and Ghetto. He did the black flash. He was able to.
Yeah, he did
use
do
the
a black flash, which is like a really tricky thing to do in the show.
I was gonna complain about that, but didn't Itadori just learn it like that too in the middle of a fight?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
They sum it up as like being in the zone, right?
Yeah.
It's like being like an athlete or some shit. Just happens in the moment.
I think that Utah did it more as like an accident.
Yeah, I was
Versus-
kind of
I just think he's just a born natural with his genes,
Yeah.
and he's just gonna keep growing as a sorcerer to potentially get to Gojo's level of strength, maybe. But
Yeah, but the reason why I say it was an accident is because no one even told him it was a thing. Like he didn't even
it
know
could have
about
just
it. It
been
just
a
happened.
part of the family. It's just in his blood, so maybe it's just
Yeah.
natural for him to do that.
The potential is just there. For
Yeah,
him.
I guess just overall to quick sum up, because I think we're getting close to the end here, is that this movie just wasn't for me. It's not really what I needed. I wanted to know more backstory of other characters, and from the characters I do know from this movie, I didn't really get anything out of it. I'm not saying this movie is bad, it's just not for me at this time. If I was introduced to Yuta in the show and you just see him being like a badass and like we get like little snippets of his backstory, maybe I'll care more about the movie. But from right now, with the context we have of the show, it's just poorly timed for me. Just for me. If you enjoyed the movie, I get it. Soundtrack's awesome. I think it was animated very well. I loved watching all the action that went through, and if you're just a casual viewer, I mean, they did a great job. It's just poor timing for us, I guess.
What's your rating out of 10 for it?
Oy vey. I don't know, man. It's a tough one. Give me a minute to think about it.
I'd give it a solid 5 out of 10. Like it was
Mitch,
good. It was
what are
okay.
your overall thoughts on the movie then?
I
Your
mean,
thoughts?
very similar to Trav. He just made a really good point where I think if they did if they would have gave us like an episode at the end of season 1 where Yuta shows up and does something cool, or if he was in season 1 at all, I would have cared a lot more about seeing this movie. But like when the trailers dropped, I didn't even know who the fuck Yuta was. The first time I saw the trailer, I thought it was Megami as younger,
I had to keep telling myself it wasn't Megami.
because Megami has some tragic backstory with the girl too, right? That we don't know about yet.
I don't know. Maybe.
I thought it was something with his family, maybe. Or
I
a
know.
friend.
I know. It was like big
Friend.
sisters, like cursed or some shit.
Yeah, it's Big Sister.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I thought this was that story, but then I started watching. I was like, okay, this is definitely not Megami. So I don't know. It was, for what it was good, but I just, like Trav said, it wasn't for me. I don't know enough about Jujutsu Kaisen to care. So
Yeah, I like what you said though about. I mean, I also thought it was gonna be more about Megami, but like we don't even know, even to this point, we don't even know how Megami got to Jujutsu
Yeah.
High. Like, how did he even get enrolled by or found by Gojo? How did he get to be grade 2 sorcerer? Like, I don't know.
no, I think if they would have showed Yuta a little bit in season 1, this movie would have been a lot better. But the fact that we just heard about it, we heard his name once, and we were supposed to remember that. It's like whatever.
What did you say your rating was out of 10?
I'll say 5 out of 10. Just mid movie.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, for me, I liked most of the animations. I did not like all of it. I would have liked to see more. I still think they could have done better with a number of scenes and animations too. The music I thought was great too. I honestly wish I had not seen season 1 of JJK before I watched the movie, because I was biased going into it. I had all these expectations for different characters, and it wasn't the right expectation to have going into it. That wasn't the reason for the movie. It was, like you guys said, for people who read the manga, wanted to know more about this character. I feel like it would have landed a lot better. So for people who haven't watched JJK at all, like Josh, I think you would probably enjoy the movie a lot more. Just like Calvin, your brother Trav, he enjoyed it because I don't think he watched JJK.
Yeah, he was just a casual going into it. So all he
Yeah,
had
so
to
I
do
feel
was
like I
enjoy the
probably-
movie for what it was.
Yeah, you probably appreciate it a lot more. You wouldn't be biased by anything. So for me, like, I don't know, I'd probably say 6 out of 10, because if I try to separate from that, I still think it had some redeeming qualities if you look past whatever exposure you had to JJK before. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd probably watch it to start from the beginning, like we're gonna be covering season 1 soon, so it'll be nice.
and fuck Demon Slayer Mugen Train, because now all these animes are doing movies because of how successful that thing was. Like Black Clover's doing a movie, Attack on Titan's doing a movie, JJK just did a movie. It's like, fuck you. Why have to be so good?
Yeah, I was actually gonna ask Yusuf if, for me and for anybody else out there who's like me who hasn't watched any JJK yet, whether I should, I mean, if I can, right, if it's gonna be online or available or whatever, if I should try and watch the movie before we start covering the show. So that's interesting that you say that, and yeah, I guess I'll try if it's online or if I have some way.
Watch it.
seeing
Yeah.
Watch it when Yuta goes into the show, actually, because if you watch it now, you won't get anything out of it. You'll just go into the show now with that extra knowledge, and it won't go anywhere. It'll just be here, not
So then,
doing anything.
so then that was going to be my other question: is do we have any kind of like a release date for season 2, or?
No release date, and it's probably gonna be some time before it's available on Crunchyroll too, just
Probably
like
like-
Mugen Train.
Probably like a year, a little less than a year before
Yeah,
season 2.
I mean, honestly, I didn't give my rating, but I think I'm being a little bit too generous, but I'm giving it a 7 actually, because like I enjoyed the animation. Like I didn't have like a entirely bad time. Like the times where I really hated it was when they were doing like the flashbacks too many times. Like I enjoyed the soundtrack. I always love seeing training like montages and stuff and seeing growth. I wish we had more time with that, honestly. instead of seeing some filler scenes. I wish they just would have spent more time explaining curses, and we would have grown more with Yuta a little bit. But yeah, I'm giving it a 7. I think overall it hit some good notes, but there was a lot of questions that we never asked, you know. And now we're just kind of left with all this information in the back of our head, like, oh, now we know who Yuta is. Now he's going to come into the show. And it's like, honestly, his backstory probably not going to mean jack shit to us now going into the show, because now we just know he's a character.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, like, the most important thing in any story, any movie, show, anime, book, anything is characters. It's the most important thing by far. And if they don't develop characters at all, they like. If the show doesn't take time to develop their characters, it better do something else that blows me out of the fucking water, like Demon Slayer season 2 did. Like, because there was really like very minimal character development in that season, but everything else was so fucking good that I could move aside from it. This movie, everything was like, but there was no character development at all. So I was like, all right, I'm bored. So
I did like Geto though.
Geto was cool. Geto really carried. He was cool.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing leaving this movie that I have now is all these characters exist, and Yuta's this guy they mentioned a few times in season 1, and this was his power, and this is how we got it.
Yeah, the real takeaways from this movie is that Class 1 is like all close. They're good. They're a good group of friends now. Geto is still out there. And now a really strong character from Class 1 that was omitted is now, being thrown back into the ring, pretty much. Or now they're just laying the groundwork for him to be brought back.
Yeah. And do you think, like, Yuta's, like, if we got introduced to him when he first makes his comeback in the show, I think that would have been a much more impactful introduction than this soppy backstory that didn't mean anything to us. Like, if he would just shown up and done something fucking crazy, we'd be like, holy shit, how strong is this guy? And then do the backstory would have been a lot
Well,
cooler,
I think it's stronger when you introduce a character you're interested in, and then you give like little breadcrumbs of like backstory, like they did with Tofu in Demon Slayer.
Yeah,
Or they could have.
We were like
also...
super interested in listening to his backstory to see how he got to be Sound Hashira.
Yeah, or at the end, like the end credit scenes for this movie, instead of just stopping at where he finds him and where was he?
Kenya.
He was in Kenya. Instead of ending it right there, he could have Gojo probably could have taken him back to Jujutsu High and shown up, and we see the characters that we've learned about in season 1.
I think what they did was enough, All they were trying to do is be
saying that
hey man,
connect the dots a bit more there.
Well, I mean, what's there to leave up to it? Obviously, Gojo's gonna he was just leaving a little hint for us. He was like, hey, I got a mission for you. Wink, I'm bringing you back.
I mean, it could build the hype for season 2.
I don't know. At that point, I was just done with the movie. I'm like, just get this shit done with so we can go home. Pretty much. I didn't hate it. I think it was just poorly timed for us to watch it right now. If it came out later after season 2 or some shit where we had more time with Yuta, maybe we would care more about this movie. But, just wrong place, wrong time, I guess.
At the end of the day, Mappa should give Trav a different birthday present.
Yeah, pretty much. They ruined my birthday.
It's like, this is really sweet of you, but it's not my size, so maybe just return it and get me something else.
Yeah, it's like getting a card with no money in it. It's like, I don't want this shit.
Oh, thanks.
I just want to be loved. But I think that's all we have to say, though, about the movie, I guess.
I have nothing more.
All right, so we are going to be ending the podcast then. So whoever hung out, thanks for hanging out. We appreciate it, and we will see you in the next one.
On the next episode of this episode, Trev, Mitch, Josh, and Yusuf discuss episodes 85 through 87. Yes, a 3-parter. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications to never miss any new episodes. Also, watch live at twitch.tv/Nutri every Monday night. And thank you for watching.